I just want to share a little bit about our resiliency factor. I call it You Belong. So I'm going to pull it up right now. Last week, we talked about making connections. Did anybody find that they were able to make a connection or apply anything that we learned last week? Okay. And staff, you can help me monitor the chat because I can't see right now as I'm trying to get my screen shared. So I put together this quick little presentation about our second resiliency factor. Resiliency factors are areas that you can focus on that will help to build resilience. They will also help with overcoming or navigating the impact of trauma and chronic stress. So last week we talked about the importance of making connections, how making connections, particularly with safe and caring adults, is a resiliency factor that seems to help people navigate overcoming and getting through trauma or the impact of trauma and stress. We talked about making connections with mentors and making connections with different adults in your lives that may be at your school or church or other organization that you belong to, and how important that is, as well as making connections to yourself through mindfulness and self-awareness. Today, I want to introduce our second resiliency factor, and that is building a culture that fosters belonging. I'm going to run through the slides a little bit because I don't want to take away from our next workshop or the break time. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Staff, jump in and stop me if there's a question or comment that comes up. Let me just, I'm going to put a link in the chat. Hold on 1 second. And can people monitor? Thank you. Stop this real quick. Sorry about that. Forgot I had a link I need to put in the chat really quick. We did this last week, for the first week with the mentee, so I'm going to put okay. If you go to that link that's in the chat, you can use your phones or your computer. Just click it or put it in your phone. It's mentee.com. And just answer the question. Sorry, that was just there. Name a group or organization that you belong to. So you just put that at that link, go to that link, and then just type in a group or organization that you belong to. And when I post this chat, when I post this slideshow, I'll have all your answers in the chat. So I can see what you are sharing, or you can see what I am doing. Sorry, my chat keeps going to one person, so it's kind of confusing. So in the chat, also, if you can just type in the chat some of those answers that you put down, a group or an organization that you belong to. And staff, if you can read them out, please. From the chat.
So we got my family, work ready.
Can other people just put in?
That's all we got so far.
All right. I'm glad you feel like you belong to work ready. That makes me happy.
Friends, sports team.
Nice. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, guys.
Okay, art with the fraternity shout out. Kappa Alpha Psi. Kappa community, which is Tamar School. We got student council.
Nice.
I'm not even sure. Oh, see, you just got to think about it a little bit.
Okay.
Everybody belongs somewhere.
So my next question is, of the groups or places that you name, do you feel like they actually give you a sense of belonging? Do they make you feel like you belong? Like you say, you belong to a family, but does that family give you a sense that you belong to that group? If that makes sense. Like you could belong to something and not feel like you belong. You could belong to a school, but not really feel like you belong there, if that makes sense.
So somebody asked, did we answer in Menti or in the chat? So
in the chat, the Menti was just for the places that you belong. Now we're just talking to each other. It's just a conversation.
Gotcha. So depends. Sometimes it's an on and off thing.
And that's what I expected to hear. Belonging is a sense of acceptance, safety, and membership. So we talked about connection last week. While connection refers to an individual's relationship with another person, belonging refers to the individual's relationship with the group. So that's the difference between connection and belonging. So what are some of the things that need to happen for someone to have a sense of belonging when it comes to a group or organization? What are some things that need to be present to create a sense of belonging?
Got leadership, acceptance, a welcome feeling, communication, feeling included, being able to state opinions freely. They need to feel comfortable.
Thank you.
All great answers.
All great answers.
Bylaws.
So it's really kind of up to the group or organization or space to provide the sense of belonging. It's really not for us. We make the connection, but then they're responsible for creating all of those things that you just shared so that you feel as though you belong. In a world of friends, followers, fans, and likes, research shows that loneliness is a major issue. Many people state that they feel alone in a crowded room. Move this thing at the top. So some of the benefits of belonging. When a group or space creates a sense of belonging, the people there have a sense that I belong. They have the assurance that they're accepted and that they fit in. They have a reciprocal relationship that involves contribution on benefits from both parties. They have added value through acceptance and understanding. And they have the sense of, I am safe to be me. Belonging does not come easily for students affected by stress and trauma. They are typically suspicious, wary of being trapped, and inclined towards isolation. The most basic human desire is to feel like you belong. Fitting in is important. And that's a quote I found from a man named Simon Sinek, who I like a lot of his quotes. I found them online all the time. So what are some of the ways that we can foster a sense of belonging in this program, in your school, and in the workplace? And I'll stop sharing so we can have that discussion. What are some of the ways that we can foster a sense of belonging in this program? We'll start there. I'm glad someone said that this was one of the places that they felt like they belong. That made me feel good. Trust, open communication, icebreakers, okay? Yeah, I have spoken to the staff about doing some icebreakers, so we're gonna work on that. Teamwork, that's a conversation we're gonna have today with Mr. Art and Ms. Charlene. Trust, make it a safe place. And I hope that we're doing some of this. We're just getting started, but if you ever find that we can do better, please let me know, work with me. We're a partnership. So I need you, we need you, feeling like you're welcome. What about in your school? What are some of the ways that they can foster more of a sense of belonging? Someone says, my school's too big for that. Representation, joining clubs. Respect. And as I said, it is on the organization or group or place. They are the ones that are responsible for developing the sense of belonging. It's not the person that's coming in that's supposed to figure out how to belong. This program, I take responsibility for making you feel as though you belong. The rest of JCS, all of our staff here, it's our job to make sure that you feel a sense of belonging. Your school should make you feel as though you belong. Your family is responsible for making the members of that family feel as though they belong. And if that's not happening, then it's time to speak up. It's time to advocate. It's time to go to whoever's in charge or whoever has influence and say, I don't feel like I belong here. Volunteering. It doesn't matter how big your school is. You are there for so long, so many hours of a day. You should feel as though you belong. And if you don't, then something needs to change.